Falcons lost it.
Well, no, the Falcons didn't lose it. The Cowboys won it. And the reason I say the Cowboys won the game is because they applied that pressure at the end of the game. There was no quitting Dak Prescott. I don't be looking at me like that, man, with that side. Look at me straight on. They applied that pressure. And when you apply that pressure to somebody, they crack. Okay? They started to panic. And the Cowboys continue methodically moving the ball down the field. Dak Prescott cooking 400-plus yards, throwing in the air. Receivers catching balls, doing what they wasn't doing in the first half. Then on the onside kick side of it, watching the film and looking at it, I'm thinking that Atlanta wanted the ball to dribble out of bounds. Why, I don't know. I have no idea why they started backing up. You are supposed to attack the football when you're on the hands team. I don't know why Julio Jones wasn't on the front line opposed to being the jumper, which is the second wave guy behind.
On the opposite side.
No, Julio was the jumper behind when he actually should have been on the front line. I don't know. They fired the special teams coach in early spring, so maybe that's the reason that he was gone, and they brought in somebody else that didn't communicate to those guys well enough. Well, but they certainly, the Cowboys, won that game, because they could have folded.
Here's why I think you're wrong, because I'm listening to your explanation, and you're talking about how Dallas kept applying the pressure. Well, Atlanta's up 20-0.
Yeah.
Dallas scores a touchdown.
Yeah, that's pressure.
Wait a minute. But Atlanta came back and responded immediately with a touchdown. And what happened was that then they go for the two-point conversion. Stupidly, they failed on the two-point conversion.
But hold on, so 1 second. Stephen, you go for 2 points because you're afraid that Dallas is getting ready to start cooking, so you're trying to put more points on the board.
Well, I guess the way I'm looking at it is that if you fail to score and all of a sudden you're relying on your defense because your offense can't do anything, then to me, that's where the pressure is applicable. But when I look at Dallas scoring a touchdown and then Atlanta follows up with a touchdown, yeah, the coach might have called a two-point conversion. There's plenty of times where people don't convert on the two-point conversions, but you still drove downfield and scored a touchdown. After that, you scored another touchdown, or you just kick it one field goal after another, and you're settling. I think the coach cracked, not necessarily the players until the last.
It's not even necessarily, when I say pressure, I'm not necessarily talking about the players. I'm talking about the coaches. When you start doing things, you start changing your thought process and your game plan, because you look now and all of a sudden their offense is moving the ball. They score, you score. Now you go for two. You're like, well, I got to get more points on the board because my defense clearly are not slowing them down in the fourth quarter. And that's what happens.
You also have injuries. They had about 3 key injuries in the game. Dallas amassed 570 total yards, 33 first downs.
Dallas was playing with three new offensive linemen. So no more excuses.
Football can be a game of runs, almost like basketball. You can get a team hot. You can get different kinds of halves. The point is, all that stuff, in the end, comes out in the wash, right? You're at the end of the game. The Falcons were hot early. Yeah. Dallas was hot late. You're at the end of the game. The only chance Dallas has is to recover an onside kick. It's not a great kick. The Falcons crowd around the ball and watch it. They watch it. They clear. Let's put it this way, guys. Put it this way. They obviously thought they weren't allowed to touch it.
No,
everyone obviously thought they weren't allowed to touch it.
I'll never believe that. Never, ever.
Why wouldn't they jump on it?
You go over this every week, at least several times. Every week. Another thought is, the way that they kick that ball, you typically don't see it moving around like that. You usually see it kind of hopping and rotating, so it can take a wild bounce on you, much like a baseball. So I'm thinking, again, they wanted it to dribble out of bounds, and they didn't want to be the guy
that formed a circle around it like they were protecting it from being touched.
To make sure that either going out of bounds or not get to that 10-yard mark. As soon as it got to the 10-yard mark, the Dallas Cowboys player jumped on it.
Let me ask you this. Do you walk away from this game more impressed with the Cowboys or disappointed?
I'm more impressed with them because they didn't fold, Molly. They stayed the course.
But they got themselves in that position.
Well, they turned the ball over a couple times. It's starting with Zeke, 2 fumbles, and then Dak. But they didn't fold, and that's important. That's important for this particular team.
Really? First of all, the Atlanta Falcons defense, we know they're sorry, and then you couple that with the injuries that they sustained, so that makes it even worse. But the flip side to it is that it was just, listen, like you said, they either was waiting for it to roll out of bounds, dumb, or they didn't know the rule and forgot the rule.
No, they knew the rule, Stephen. They knew the rule.
It's one or the other now. It's one or the other. They were either waiting for the ball to fall and roll out of bounds.
I'll never believe they didn't know the rule.
The Falcons collapsed worse than the Cowboys screwed up.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.